Hey, Scott, thank you. Okay, well, look at this. The rescue process has begun. Time right now is 9:15. This is in Apache Junction. As you can see, there is a flooded wash. There is a woman who has been stuck in that car, and the water is rushing around her. Obviously, these are very challenging circumstances for any of the swiftwater rescue crews who are going to be dealing with this. They got to make sure that they're safe. Scott is back in the studio here. These guys are wearing helmets. They've got those long sticks to stabilize themselves. They are wearing protective vests. So that they got to be ready, because that water, as we know, is moving quite quickly. And that can be dangerous. We don't know how the soil is beneath there. This car could start moving. This woman's going to need to be tethered to them to be brought to safety. So she did the right thing by staying calm while in the car. We don't know if there were real clear warnings out there that she shouldn't have been crossing through that at all. But these are real challenging situations, and we've got some teams who are very good at executing this.
Well, look at the water raging behind that car. I mean, it is really flowing. So it begs the question, what in the heck is she doing trying to drive across that, whether there were signs there or not? It just goes to show that you never know how deep this is. You never know how hard that water is rushing. It doesn't take much for that car to be lifted off the ground and then washed downstream, which of course would have been really dangerous for that person inside the car. But we don't know the age of the woman, but obviously it's a really a bad and dangerous situation, because you're putting the firefighters or the rescuers at harm as well, trying to do the rescue. So.
Absolutely, and I can't tell if they are tethered to each other. That's often the case, that you'll see them kind of, you know, tied up to a rope so that they have some security if somebody loses their footing. But I imagine that she's going to be connected too. Gibby is out at the scene. He is standing by near this camera. I don't know, Gib, if you've been able to speak to any of the authorities there about what their approach is for this or what the circumstances were surrounding it, but it looks like they made a pretty quick work of getting to this woman.
Yes, they did. And you know what? They just suited up, and within minutes, they're starting to walk in. Now, they're not tethered, but what they're doing is they're holding on to each other's life vests, and they got one on her. They also got a helmet on her just in case. And as I mentioned earlier, we were here just, about 2 hours earlier. Guys, this water was probably about 2 inches deep going across this wash. But as these guys practice this and train on this all week long, this is a special crew out of Mesa that comes out and works in this. As you can see, they're taking their time. There's the guy with the, he's making sure that the floor is nice and steady, and they're just taking one step at a time as they're almost getting her out of danger here. But, there are signs here that says do not cross when flooded. It lets you know that when it's raining, not to come through here. And as I mentioned, cars were going by here earlier, but at that time it was just inches away. As you can see, the driver looks and appears to be fine. Appears to be a young female driver as well. But the good news here is she is okay. They have her out of the water. She is now going to meet with the firefighters there to make sure she's doing okay. But here's the problem. You still have a vehicle. We still have a vehicle in the middle of the road here, and this wash doesn't seem like it's letting up anytime soon, guys. When you take a look at the way that it is flowing through here, worst case scenario, that it takes that car into that wash right next to a school is where we're located right now at this point.
Well, thank goodness that woman is okay. They did a great job getting her through there. But again, and we have to keep reminding drivers, and we do every single year, please do not drive through washes. You're putting not only yourself in harm, but everybody else is trying to rescue as well. But that was a job well done.
Great perspective there, Gibby. Thank you so much. Stand by, please. We want to head on up to the chopper, also giving us some incredible views, and let you know how much water is surrounding this. I mean, when you're able to put that car in this perspective, you're watching the rescue there. Is it Bruce up there in the chopper?
No, he's...
Jerry, hey, standing by with your take this morning.
Yeah, as I pull out here, you can see how wide the, it's a river at this point, has gotten. And again, luckily that individual was safely rescued. A number of fire crews on scene here. Certainly not something that you would want to drive through. Let me zoom back in here and show you just how deeply that car is into the wash there. That's kind of what it looks like from the Penguin Air and Plumbing News chopper.
It is really
water coming up over the hood there.
you know that they're dealing with quite a challenge when you're trying to get to that car. So again, just moments ago, we saw that the rescue crews were able to get the woman out of the car safely. She was alone in the car, presumably. That's the only person they took out. They have moved away from the car now. And maybe from Gibby's perspective, we can see how she's doing. Must have been a pretty scary morning.
I'm sure it was. And, you know, also a reminder, just because it may not be raining there doesn't mean that the wash is not headed your way from upstream, where it might have been raining a lot and coming down through the mountains. But there's another shot from Penguin Air and Plumbing News, Chopper. A really crazy morning for that woman. Gibby, so I guess she's okay, right?
Hey, Gib,
Gibby,
can
go
you...
Yeah,
ahead.
guys, you know, I just spoke with the firefighters out here who were just telling me that what they use was what they call a wedge, and it's one of the typical ones when they don't have the tethered. They use that wedge formation to bring them out. I asked them how the young gal was doing. They said that she was in good spirits at this point as they were pulling her. They have her in the back of the ambulance at this point, just checking on her, making sure she's okay. But they say that they train on this all the time. A lot of them, you'll see them over at the Salt River because that's one of those where you see it moving. I want you to take a look at this, though, as we come around this way. This is all that water that is coming from Apache Junction that we've been showing you all morning long in the mobile unit, and you can see how fast this water is moving. So you can only imagine that if you try crossing this with any type of vehicle, it will take you. I think people underestimate the current when it comes to this formation going across the road. The other reason why I wanted to tell you is there's a school here, an elementary school, and the good news is they hadn't started school out here in Apache Junction yet, but we've seen this before during these monsoons, that when they have this up, they have the signs up, they have lights up, and folks still keep trying to cross over. It's one of those things where you just need to stay out of it completely and make your way all the way around, guys.
All right, Gibby, thank you for that. It was a job well done by firefighters, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Time now is 9:22.